Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Welcome to Two Sober Guys. I think it'd be better if it was Two Sober Dudes. It sounds better than Two Sober Guys. Two Sober Dudes sounds a lot better. Might have to change it. Nothing's in stone yet on this one. So I have so many different ones. People are like, yeah, Dion, what are you live? Is it a podcast? Hi, Amber. It's good to see you.
Oh, hello.
Early bird gets the worm. I wish I had a worm right here. So he'd be like, oh yeah, like a gummy worm. Just throw it at the camera. All right. How you doing, Tyler?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
A little drained, but
I hear you.
it's just, just a little tired. Feel like I've been go and haven't really taken that time to just reset,
decompress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've taken moments, but I haven't had like a day.
Amber is over here saying Ty's in his house.
Woo! Gotta raise that roof a
little bit. Do you like
bit.
when people call you Ty? I mean,
I don't like it when you call me
3 years
Ty.
old, like a 3-year-old. I don't know.
Most of the time, I don't mind really what people call me as long as I know they're talking to me.
Yeah, that's fair enough. We've been called so many names that just don't call me late for dinner.
Well, I used to say like, oh, I'm terrible with names. And that was the first thing I could do to get better at it was stop saying that, right?
It's funny. I say that at least 2-3 times a week, and it's a great excuse not to memorize your name. I would have to agree with you.
See, and that's what I learned is most people's favorite sound to hear someone else make is their name. So, I try to ask people what they prefer to be called, but I've gotten a lot better at names. In the past it was, I'd have a new coworker start and they're like, hey, what's this, guy's name? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. That's bottle of Miller Lite, glass of ice guy.
Yeah.
Don't know what his name is.
Yeah. I do those things where I tie your name to something.
Ty.
Maybe Tyler, right? Oh, there we are. I'm kind of weird. If you haven't been in the, like, if we get new people at Grassroots, I don't remember their names until they've been there 30 days because I can only hold so much information up here. Even in my phone, you're Tyler AA.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of. A friend of mine who may or may not be listening does it the other way. They do AA and then the name, and that way they're just all there.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Like that.
All my
and it's
really
like
close people, yeah.
Right, you don't have to scroll through everything to find.
Yeah,
like
Amber has me listed as Dion the podcast dude, which honestly I think that's awesome. I'd rather be called Dion podcast dude than Dion Miller. I'd rather be known for that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, and then I guess Amber, she puts like little emoticons and stuff next to like if it's a star, you're doing well. If so, you're being ranked in Amber's contacts. Right.
Just avoid the stormy clouds.
Amber's that person sounds fucking smart as shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that person is very smart.
Just like when I hear other people named Dion, I'm like, man, they must be a good looking dude, you know.
I like I like when a customer says, "Oh, my son's name's Tyler." I'm like, "Oh, he's got some smart parents."
Oh, today we're going to talk about the how of the program. So,
Oh.
welcome to Two Sober Dudes. I just changed that. I will get a new graphic for us and stuff. Welcome to Two Sober Dudes. My name is Dion. Tyler is here. We're here, but if you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. I'm trying to get better at this. If you like what we do, please share it. You can find me at trudgingtogether.org. And I'm going to be plugging Take 12 Radio that I'm on every single Monday. You can find that at take12radio.com. As take, and then the number 12 radio.com. Or you can just go look Monty Man. You can go to Google, put in Monty Man, you'll find it. So, Amber says, I haven't put a heart by Tyler's name yet, and his still says Colorado. AA Tyler, Colorado. There we go. Exponsees is what I have with those who don't want to follow some simple rules. Yeah, I hear you.
I gotta make sure I don't make it onto that list.
Yeah. Hey, Michelle. Good to see you. Yeah, you don't want to make it onto that list. You know how it is. It's always around the 4-step, right? It's always around the 4-step. Oh,
But yeah, so
we're meeting tomorrow. I better send Dion a text and ask for the next list. That's happened to me more than once.
yeah, the how of it, right? Speaking of how we do this,
great leeway. Great leeway.
It all, I mean, it for me, it started with honesty, right? So
Mhm.
how, for those that don't know, it honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. So
Yes.
H.O.W. And those are basically the three core concepts you need to get going and work a
Mhm.
program of recovery.
Yeah.
Hey, Michelle. For me, it all started with being honest. I was as honest as I could be in the
There we go.
past.
That's where we got to start.
I always felt like I was an honest person, but I was neglecting things that were going on, and I wasn't able to be, or maybe willing, but I wasn't honest with myself, which meant that I couldn't be honest with anyone else.
Well,
And
and these things can be interchangeable. You know, may you have to be willing to be honest or
mhm.
open-minded enough to be willing. That's why it's great. There's 3 of them. Each of these lead to each other. But you know, what would you say is the first honest thing you said when you got to AA?
I need help,
Yeah, I would agree.
or I don't know.
I don't know is
However that
fine.
sentence ended, it
Yeah,
started with I don't know, or I need
I don't
help.
know. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. My name's Dion. I'm an alcoholic. That's a good place to start. But yeah, it's going to be tough because the principle behind the first step is honesty for a dishonest person. So, yet, you know, it was kind of like when I was growing up, my parents would tell me, Dion, you need to be more honest. I'd be like, okay, how do I do that? Well, you stop lying. Okay, well, how do I do that? Well, you be on. And see, that just caught me in a circle. It wasn't because they didn't have the capacity to say, this is how you are lying. This is the way that you're kind of manipulating it, right? And it wasn't until I did that 4th and 5th step where I could really be truly honest with myself. So, what are we going to do in the beginning? Well, we're going to allow you to be as honest as you can be. We're going to meet you where you're at. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to read this out of the spiritual experience. We find that no one need have difficulty with the spirituality of the program. Willingness, honesty, and open-mindedness are the essentials of recovery, but these are indispensable. And indispensable pretty much means you can't run out of it. You can't run
Yeah.
out of willingness.
Right. Like, I was really honest earlier, so I gotta lie now. But
Yeah.
being honest, and I'm not able to not be honest because I was honest. That cup doesn't empty.
Yeah.
right? Like it doesn't matter how, how much willingness you've given, you always have more.
Yeah.
How much open-mindedness you always have more.
Yeah.
How much honesty you always have more.
I I don't know why this pops into my mind, but when I was younger, I think it was about 19, 20, I was living with my mom and my stepdad, and I kept starting my lines with "to be honest." And my stepdad said, "Dion, if you're being honest, you don't need to qualify it. In fact, if you start that out with 'to be honest,' I think you're full of shit, because why would you need to qualify your honesty?" And that made a lot of sense to me. I wasn't being dishonest, but the way I was presenting it made it sound disingenuine, you know.
Yeah.
And so, what does that lead to? Open-minded. Oh, well, if I'm saying it that way, um, there are some things that I kind of stray away from on talking about things like that, because I'm trying to become even the level of my voice. This is not my level. This is not my regular voice. I had to teach myself how to talk this way. This is my regular voice, and it's a lot deeper. It gets booming. But when I raise it a little bit, people feel I seem more approachable. But when I allow that booming, I grow my hair out so I would be more approachable, because I know that when it's clean straight off, people probably think I'm racist. They probably think I'm, Aryan Nation or something. Because I'll walk through the mall and people just kind of part ways with my. But when I have hair, they don't do that. It's kind of weird. And even that's partly manipulation. I do it on purpose. Yeah. Sometimes they're like, I want to look meaner. I just want to look meaner.
And just have a bad day. Like I'm done with people.
Yeah, goodbye hair.
Yeah. You gotta get a couple of nice scars.
I, I should put a tattoo on there that says something stupid like "not Aryan," or yeah, I couldn't come up with anything better. Free hugs. There we go.
Yeah.
Get it tattooed on the back. Free hugs.
If this is showing the hair fell off.
If you can read this, flip me back over.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now
But yeah.
those would have been good to have when I was still drinking.
But that would have
It's
to be
right on the
above your.
forehead. If I'm passed out and you can read this, flip me over. That
Yeah,
way at least I
well,
don't.
it'd have to be above your butt crack, though. If you can read this. Oh,
I was thinking about like throwing up and choking on my own vomit.
yeah. Yeah, that's
But
true. We were thinking
yeah,
different
so if
things.
you can read this, flip me over if I'm passed out. I
Uh,
actually don't have any tattoos.
wow, that's actually kind of surprising.
Yeah,
I thought you would probably have,
piercing and
at least
tattoo
like a Mickey
free.
Mouse tattoo or something. I have a
There were
tattoo, but it's so faded and looks so shitty. I don't show it to anybody. Yeah. You just see
eh,
ink on my.
faded and shitty. That's how I was when I was drinking.
Yeah, it needs to be colored. I don't know if anybody remembers the movie Wizards. It was a cult movie back in the 70s. I would recommend watching it. So I'm thinking about getting that touched up. My wife, on the other hand, has like 12 tattoos. All of them mean something. I have a feeling that Amber is going to start describing hers. How about you, Amber and Michelle? Do you have any tattoos? All right. So, what else can we do with what else can we do with honesty? Let's say we've been in the program for a little while, and we are we're doing the 10th step, we're in maintenance. Not saying that we're not going to make any mistakes, but has honesty become something more for you in the program, you think?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and not just in the program, but in my life in
Yeah,
general, at work,
yeah,
at
absolutely.
home.
In your recovery, I should have probably was probably the better question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I a specific situation comes to mind after I started at my new job. I had been there for hours and it was a busy day and it had finally calmed down and we were about 20 minutes away from closing and I was like, hey, I'm going to step outside for a few minutes unless you want me to wait until close. And, the manager I was telling that was like, well, are you going to smoke? And I was just like, yeah. Well, then no, like we're not allowed to smoke. And I was like, well, don't ask me that stupid question. Like next time, just be like, yeah, go ahead and take your 10, take 5, whatever, but if you point blank ask me, am I going to go smoke? I'm gonna have to say yes, even though I know that we're not allowed. That's how I found out we weren't allowed to, but I wasn't going to lie about it, and sometimes that means, hey, I messed up. I need to, clear the air there. You know, the another time it was rolling silverware. It's like, hey, did you polish your silverware? No. Do you want me to redo them all or just do better next time?
Yeah.
Those are.
When we're honest, we can keep conversations simple. Right. And, we can just kind of get to the point. This situation is going into my head yet. Remember when we were putting together the meeting at Henderson Community Church, and Al-Anon was starting over there. Also, they were coming in, but in my mind, I was thinking about the club. At that point, it was the Club Trudge, which didn't last very long, which is fine. It wasn't supposed to happen. But in my mind, it's like, no, the groups pay the club pays the church, and that process was actually wrong. It was incorrect, right? So we're all talking about this, and they bring up, yeah, we'll just go ahead and I got a little upset. I got mad, okay? But it was, it didn't have to do with the money. It was because I wanted control. We'll be honest about it. I wanted control. I thought I've done the work already, but no, they were correct, right? And I got mad, and I walked away from the group for a little bit. It was Pastor Marcia, the person from Al-Anon, and my wife. And I walked away. I'm like, okay, I took a breath, and then I came back, and they're like, are you okay? I'm like, no, I got kind of mad because Dion wasn't getting what he wanted, but I got over it. I didn't need to bring up what the problem was. It wasn't for them to deal with it. They were correct in something. Yes, I had feelings about it, but they were my own. It was my own problem. Why start a fight over something that doesn't require one? Because what do I want? Well, I want the right thing. So it was that internal honesty that saved me from starting an argument and maybe even running off Al-Anon. Well, Dion's being greedy in it and they would be right. They would be correct in that, right? So now Amber's she must be getting bored because now she's on Facebook. So hi, AR Photography.
Hi.
If you
like augmented reality photography.
Well, I do some. I plug my friends here, man. Yeah, but
I've actually seen some photographs that she's taken, and they're very good.
She's really good. If they sucked, I wouldn't. But I asked her.
I mean, hell, she made you look good
at it. Yeah. What did you say? I missed it.
Hell, she made you look good.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was going to be so horrible. I brought my Darth Vader mask to cover my mug, They'd come out better now that I have hair. All right. So honesty is something that's ongoing. Honesty helps us with, hey, you know what? I didn't handle that. Right. So it's mostly an internal honesty, being honest with myself. And we're going to have to ask ourselves hard questions like, Dion, why are you acting like a baby about this? How come you're being so sensitive about this? But that helps me get to the root. And then I can change. All right.
On the other, absolutely. Right. Because if you don't know, you don't know. And you don't know what you don't know, right? So the more honest you can be with yourself, the more you can learn and understand. Now, on the other side of that is, you can be honest in a positive way, right? A lot of times people feel awkward giving compliments.
There you go.
Like today, there's somebody that I don't necessarily get along with. There's a respect issue. I don't I don't respect the position that this individual is in. Great person, just maybe
Okay.
not in the right role.
Okay.
But there was a situation where it's like, hey, we need your help up here with these things. And they went and did it. And afterwards, it wasn't like, oh, finally, which was the feeling. But it was, I had to tell myself, hey, like this person went out and did what needed to be done so that everyone else can have an easier time. And I need to acknowledge that, right? I need to be honest about
Yeah.
the fact that I appreciate that they did that. So, instead of just letting that go with them not feeling the appreciation that I was absolutely feeling, I had to be honest about the fact that I appreciated what they did, even though I might not like the person. So that was really cool too. Just like, hey, thank you for coming out and helping us out. That made everybody's day a lot easier.
Yeah. You attract better things with honey than you do poop, Um, yeah, I would agree. Encouragement. I think there's a lack of it. I really do. Um, for me, I had to get rid of some things like jealousy. All right. Being happy that things are happening to other people, even though I kind of want them in my life. And if I can accept the fact that I am being jealous, then I can do something about it. Now, since I don't hate them, I can approach them and say, how did you do that? And God forbid somebody do or say something that makes my life a little better. God forbid,
Yeah.
Um,
So
and thank you,
yeah.
Michelle. Michelle says, I like how you analyze yourself before acting, Dion. I do it a lot, but not always.
Getting better
Doesn't
as time
always
goes
happen,
on.
but yeah, so I appreciate that progress. I appreciate that was a compliment, right? And what do we
Yeah.
say when we get compliments?
Thank you.
No, we don't need to say, yeah, but it's
Yeah.
all God's glory. No, not all of it.
So yeah, I had to be honest about the fact that I was hurting the people that I cared about.
Yeah.
That was for me. That was the first thing that came, and as soon as it did, I had the willingness and open-mindedness. Just kind of like a domino. I couldn't tell you which one of those two came first. Probably willingness. I
Probably.
had I
Yeah.
had been in some recovery rooms in the past, and one thing that drew me away was my preconceived notion that where I was a religious group.
Yeah.
Um, but at that point, I was willing to do what needed to do whatever they did because I knew that what they did worked for them, and
Mm-hmm.
I wanted what they had. So I had to be willing to do what they did, which meant I
Absolutely.
had to be open-minded.
Yeah.
Um, and
Well,
that led me
yeah,
through those first few steps.
so the reason, because you are not incorrect, willingness actually precedes all of this because you had to be willing to be honest. Willingness always comes first. Even in the book, it says willingness, honesty, and open mindedness. But the
Uh,
acronym is how because it's how it works, not who it works. Otherwise, the acronym would be who. So it's the only reason we say it that way. But usually it starts with willingness. Absolutely, it does. I had to be willing to walk in. What do we even start with? Are you willing to go to any length? Are you willing to do this? We start the program out with willingness. Are you willing to go to a meeting and raise your hand and admit you're an alcoholic? Hmm.
mm-hmm.
So I would not say that you are incorrect in that. Let's talk about willingness. I think it's probably one of the best. I mean, it comes with your spiritual toolkit.
Oh yeah. So I mean, willingness to me is it's the yes man attitude. If you've seen the Jim
Mm,
Carrey movie Yes Man, it just yep.
yep.
If I can, I will. If I'm able, I will. And that's how it started for me was just say yes. Every single person in your life deserves a yes. For what you've done over the last 20 years,
Sure.
the first thing I can do to help make amends is yes.
Hmm.
and that's, that was where the willingness started with me, was just, yep, all favors, the answer is yes, unless I can't, right? Because I don't want to be unreliable either. I don't want to tell 3 different people, yes, I can do something at the same time, and have that be 3 different things in 3 different places.
Yep.
Lord knows
I've done that. I had to
that's where willingness started for me, was just, yep, absolutely I can. Will you show me how?
Yeah, that's why, when it comes to the podcast, when I ask people, I ask them if they're willing to tell their story. I always put that word in there. And then I always, at the end of it, I always put, you are not required to say yes. In fact, you can say no to me without feeling guilty. I give you a way out, because if you don't want to do it or you're not ready, I don't want you to have to do it. I don't want you to feel like you have to do it. I would rather hear, Dion, I don't want to be on your show, you suck, than blow me off. Because at least now you're giving me honest feedback. Well, how do I suck? Because then maybe I can improve a little bit. See, when somebody says no and tells me why, I get to see improvement. But when you deny me that, you're being dishonest. And then I don't want you on the show anyway. If you're not being honest about that, and I give you a way out, but people want to say yes sometimes because, I know for me, I said yes a lot in the beginning because I wanted to be a part of something.
I needed something other than stuck in my own head. Whatever it was, and as long as it wasn't bad, I needed to focus on anything other than, man, I wish I could drink.
Yeah.
And the easiest way to do that was to clean my apartment and help other people.
Yep.
These days, I don't have that, man, I want to drink all the time feeling. So naturally, there's a pile of laundry everywhere. But yeah, that early sobriety there was a lot, idle hands are the devil's playground type of thoughts. It was.
I had to distract myself a lot in those first, in the beginning. And there's all different ways. There's meetings 24 hours a day now. There's absolutely no valid excuse for missing a meeting or doing what you need to do. If you're not getting it done, what I would say is you need to manage your priorities a little bit differently. Right? So, and it's okay not to be the priority. Remember that, people. It sounds mean, but it's okay not to be the priority. Right? Sometimes life happens. Happens to me all the time. Dion, I can't make it to the podcast. I have to take my dog to the vet. Yeah, my kids are in trouble, or this, I need to take care of it. Life happens. So therefore, it happens in God's time. And that's usually my answer. Hey, we'll reschedule, go take care of it. I don't mind. Human stuff comes up. Even human error happens all the time. And we have to give account for that, right? So let's move on to open-mindedness. Unless you had more things to say on honesty or willingness.
No, but open-mindedness is a great one. Because there's so much that comes to mind when I think about that. Whether it's removing my own personal biases from things is being open-minded. The first thing was the whole, God aspect or higher power. Okay. The reason it took me 20 years was because I was closed-minded. I was closed off to that, People said God and I stopped listening.
Yeah. Because they put one word in there. Yeah, I know what that's like.
And I've seen and know almost countless other people that have that same experience. And man, what I wouldn't give to just boop, you're open-minded people, Yeah. Just wave a wand and have people be like, oh, okay. But then again, that's how people felt about me, right? Like I know my mom,
I get it,
hundreds of times wished that she had a magic wand that could make everything better. But I had to be I had to be open to the idea that I couldn't do this. I couldn't do it. There,
Yeah.
and I knew that it could be done. So where does that leave me? Right. Okay, there's that open-mindedness. Like, okay, well, there's got to be something there.
Yeah. I think a great place to start. I mean, because in order to be open minded, the first thing I need to do is stop fighting everything and everyone, or I'm not going to become open minded. Maybe I need to ask for the willingness to be open minded on something. I had to do that with rock bottom. I did. It was a rock I was willing to stand on, and we can't do that no never type of thing, right? And I don't want to be what I don't want to be is an old man who's stuck in his ways. I don't want to be that person because I'm having a lot of fun learning more. But in order to do that, I have to remain open minded. Out of all three of those, I think that's the hardest one for me. If I could willingly, honestly say that open mindedness out of the three is the hardest for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's from your first memories on. You've created experiences that lead you to have expectations or to expect, certain things or life to be a certain way or whatever the case might be. From every single individual has their own biases, and removing
Sure.
those is one of the first ways that I could be open-minded. The person cuts you off in traffic and you're like, fuck you, buddy. Oh, well, maybe they just found out that their wife's laying on the bedroom floor with a broken leg and needs to get rushed to the hospital. Who knows?
Well, yeah.
But
and now you get to experience more of that, Mr. I have my driver's license back.
I know I might have had an opportunity right now to get behind the wheel, but I haven't gotten behind the wheel yet.
Oh man.
We'll see how
If
long
you're
my
still in
sister
Colorado,
stays around.
I'd let you. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Take you around.
Well, if I was still in Colorado, I'd need you to get one of those blow and goes.
I'm blowing it for you.
I could blow it.
I know, that's the fun. That's the joke. Why'd you have Dion blowing it? Because he said he would, but you're sober. Yeah, but fuck it, Fuck the system anyway, right? I think it's open-mindedness but out of those three, the growth happens in the open-mindedness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the more open-minded you become, the more able you are to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially about yourself. Like, oh, I was doing that for a long time and didn't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
Or holy cow, I had no idea you felt that way.
Yeah.
I wish you would have said something 20 years ago, whatever the case might be. I can only be as honest as I can be at the time, and being more open, the more open-minded I get, the more I am able to be honest.
There you go. Yeah, you hit it. Because the other thing about, and there again, we utilize open-mindedness in the beginning to, it's an internal open-mindedness, right? All three of these are. But after you complete the steps, after you're done with the steps and you become a recovered alcoholic, these things become external and they change on you. They will start to change on you, right? Yeah, I'll use my advocating as an example, right? If you go to the serenity prayer period, God grant me the strength to accept the things I cannot change. In the beginning, that was everything outside of me, because I had to become something first and earn trust and do these things before I could start going out. You can't transmit something you don't have. So what I did is I started at home. And I became a better example to my kids and my wife and the kitty cats. The kitty cats will come around one way or another. All right. And my kids started to change and then I went to my neighborhood. I run sound at church, and the churches know who I am. People tend to know who I am around here and what I do. My neighbors know who I am and what I do. And now I'm working on healing my community, you know? And this is all done with the program. These are things that can change. East Metro Detox did it. They are not required to be a clinical detox for another year and a half. But we sat down, we're like, why don't we just do it now? Because it'll make our lives easier. Let me tell you the difference, folks. The difference is this. If you go to a detox right now in Colorado and you need to see a doctor, you will need to go to the emergency room. Now you won't need to. The doctors are there and they write the scripts. And that what it does is it helps us get the scripts that you need, because not all scripts are barbiturates and stuff, folks. Some of them are heart meds, things that people need. I have a lot of heart meds, and this allows us to help them get into treatment immediately instead of waiting around and stuff. So, see, we can make changes. Tonight I'm going to a meeting, the detox meeting. Still going on. Tyler, you were there when this started. That was what, 2 years ago you and I did that. I've been working on this 3 years. I'm gonna flip tables, man. I'm not gonna say, because they were just so unthinking. Commerce City smells like crap, and it's too far south. But somebody's got to say something. Otherwise, everybody's running around saying, "Look at what a great job we did." No, you didn't. It was lazy, and so we need to be honest about this stuff. But if we don't speak the truth, then how are we ever going to get to the right answer? And I don't feel like they're speaking the truth. Anyway, that's my 10th step.
Well, I know, and that's, one thing I love about that is how the willingness, the wisdom to know the difference, right? The wisdom comes with experience. It's, you have more wisdom the more experience you have, hopefully. It took me 20 years to gain a little bit of wisdom, but the courage to change the things you can, like that's there. It's just the wisdom to know the difference between what you can and can't change. You were a great example of that for me. That was one of the reasons that I wanted you to take me through the steps, because I saw that you were making larger impacts than I was capable of at the time. You were making community impacts, not individual impacts. And that's exactly, that was it. Like your capacity, you were wise enough to know that there was more that you could change than just yourself.
Yeah. But
and you went and did
what
something
I can't
about
do is change a sober living. I can't do that. That is beyond me. But what I can do is go make changes to regulation to make that sober living follow something that's a little bit more accountable. That part I can do. So I'm not picking on sober livings. I'm actually for sober livings and recovery coaching when done correctly. And that's the part that's not happening. And is because they were given a set of rules. These people over here are just following the rules. Well, the rules are messed up. So some people are taking advantage. But for the most part, most recovery coaches have no idea they're even doing wrong. So what do we talk about? We're education, right? So, but thank you for that. I appreciate that compliment. And that leads us to experience, strength, and hope, right? ESH. You can't have, you can't have strength without experience, and you can't have hope without strength. And these ones are in order. It is my experiences of life, going through life without alcohol, confronting my problems, that gives me the experience that leads to strength. Or you could call it courage, right? Because you're going through hard things and you're coming out unscathed. Well, once you have the experience and the strength, you've gone through the program and you're a recovered alcoholic, now you have hope. And very few people in this world actually carry any hope because they are unwilling to do the work themselves. And so it all connects.
Yeah, that's so true. And willing to do the work themselves. is so one area, and this is unrelated, but like I cannot control what anyone else does, right? Like it's really
Yeah.
easy for me to be like, oh, this person's not doing that, this person's not doing that. But
Yeah.
you know what, I can't control, I can only work my program. I cannot work someone else's program of recovery for them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, and that, again, right? Courage, wisdom to know the difference. Like I know that I can't do that.
Yeah.
Now what I can do is educate, guide. What is the
And you
horse,
better be
you
a
know,
good example while doing that.
lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. But you can shove his fucking head in there.
Make them wish you did. And when we say that, we mean love. That's what we're talking about in a loving way. Last week there was a very, very clear HIPAA violation. Very clear. Right? And it started with one of the people that let's just say it's not their first time. This is like the umpteenth time. So they did not get a heads up for me. I just reported them, period, because they've done it before. Now, other people shared this. And I'm not going to bring up the names because it just doesn't, it's an example, right? Well, them, I'd never seen them do this before. So I reached out to them and they were a company and they work with children. So it's even more important. So how do you confront that? Without experience and courage and hope and willingness and open-mindedness, and I wouldn't be able to. I would have wrote them, "Oh, you are wrong, and you need to take this down right now because you're just no, 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 no. Hey, we're seeing this HIPAA violation. We know people make mistakes. I like to approach people the first time as a learning experience instead of just going and disrupting their life, which I think is fair. Hey, it's the first time. And it was. These other people were just following. But what happened was then they were all taken down, except for the last one. Well, they're keeping it up, knowing it's a HIPAA violation. That means this company over here will no longer work with them. So we accomplished what we needed to get accomplished just by reporting a HIPAA violation and doing it the right way. It's not easy. Have you ever? Okay, I'm trying to think of a good. Let's say somebody does something to you and it's just heinous, right? Well, I'm over here going, you need to report it. You need to report. I don't know. It's really scary. It's really scary. Okay. Now, one day that it's reversed, and you're like, Dion, you need to report that. I'm over here going, but it's scary. It's scary because when it's you, it's scary. When it's somebody else, you don't have that fear of reprisal of people coming back at you. My life has been threatened 3-4 times since I started doing this. It has. You know, we're gonna kick your ass. Whatever. They were gonna do it, they would have done it a long time ago. I'm not scared of them. I just they're they're a bunch of white dudes on motorcycles. That does not scare me. I just see a little gang, with little flippers. Do you ever take playing cards, put them in your spokes so you see
Oh,
like a motorcycle? Yeah, that's
and
what
some
it's like.
clothespins.
So, but yeah, we sometimes God will call us to do things that are harder. Now, granted, I have the time. I'm in that position, and God has been preparing me this for 30, 35 years. So now we're getting things done. There's changes being made, and recovery in Colorado is getting better. So, now we have 120 beds for unhoused alcoholics. 120 beds. I got free treatment, 6 months, reintegration, everything I say I've been wanting. They just gave me an invite to the open house, which I'll be inviting all the listeners to if you'd like to go. So I'm not going to name who it is yet. Well, I don't want the abusers going after it because they will. They'll use that, and it'll get done the right way. All right, I kind of went off on a tangent there. Probably just a little
But
one.
yeah, I had to be willing to be honest with myself so that I could become open-minded, so that I could figure out how to treat people and interact with something bigger than myself.
Hmm. And how to treat yourself.
Oh my God, I'm still absolutely. There's a lot of work to do there. I'm definitely my biggest critic. Dion, I think you're your biggest critic. You know, we're
Absolutely,
all
yeah.
our biggest critic. One way that I try to combat that is to talk to myself like I'm a little kid, you know,
Mm.
like, hey, buddy, we don't do that. All right. You know, like I'll be like, stupid Tyler. Hey, now we don't talk to ourselves like that. All right, Tyler, you made a mistake. That's
Yeah.
better. You know, like just, and that's how it starts. You know, I treat myself the same way I treat everyone else because I treat others the way that I want to be treated, but then I don't treat myself that way. That's not very fair.
And that's the we walk around and we say, if anybody talked to me the way that I talk to me, that, and it's true for everybody, right? Um, Stop doing it. Because people are going to treat you the way that you treat yourself. Okay. And then you'll find that acceptable because you are doing it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it isn't. So treat yourself like you treat others.
Yeah. I mean, it's
That's
really
going to work
easy to
better.
remember to treat others like you want to be treated,
That's even a
but treat
better way to put it.
yourself like you want to be treated.
Give yourself a little bit of freaking grace, man. You know, I had to give myself a lot of grace yesterday, you know, because I wanted that show to be as perfect as possible. So what I did is I prepared and then I let it sit and it was hard to do, but it still turned out exactly the way it was supposed to. And other people may not have noticed, but there were a couple of mistakes. I'm just going to, next time I'll be a little bit better at it. Jeff did not like me saying that we appreciated him coming on for free, that there was no payment or anything like that. He did not like that being said. So if I have another person like that, I'm not going to say it. I can see it in his face because he doesn't want. He's like, "What's the point? It was a waste of time. It was a waste of dead air or waste of space in that." Right. So we learn. Now, does everybody else know that? No. You know, but show went off great. Were mistakes made? Yes. And that's what trudging together is all about. Fuck it up on camera.
Yeah. Make a mistake, learn from it, do better.
Yeah. I'm not gonna beat myself. Because the old Dion be like, you made that one mistake. That was horrible. Blah, blah. And then I wouldn't have been proud of myself for doing what I did. That part would be gone. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a great example of treating ourselves correctly, being nice to us. So yeah. Good examples. You got anything you'd like to wrap up with, bro?
Honestly, just be kind to yourself. You know,
Mm.
be kind and as honest as you can with yourself, and try to grow both of those things.
Mm. I don't think I could say it much better. You know, um, I would agree. You gotta take care of yourself first. If you are still early in the program, put those blinders on, get through the steps. Quit worrying about what everybody else is doing. That part will come. It comes in time.
Mm-hmm.
And continue to stay open minded and be ready because there's a lot of change coming. A lot of change. You only have to change one thing, everything. And just so you know, you don't end up changing everything, folks, just so you know. But a good chunk of it,
Yeah.
yes.
You know, I can't remember what it was, but they said you get about 15% wiggle room.
Yeah, there
You
you go.
get to change
I'd,
about 15%.
I'd give it 12, 15%. Absolutely, I would. Because not just because I'm not a bad person at heart. None
You're
of us
not a
are.
bad person.
Yeah, not at heart. We are not. I conformed to that is what I did.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's not Dion. So, well, thanks, man. Appreciate you
Well,
coming
thank you
on.
for having me.
Yeah,
I always enjoy it.
yeah.
And thank you, Michelle and Amber and everybody else that might be listening or might hear that. Oh, and AR photography. Thank you all for being here. Um, yeah, and anybody that watches the restream, I appreciate it. It's always nice to be heard and seen, whether it's now or later.
Yeah, great. Thank you, man. Again, you can catch us at trudgingtogether.org. Check out Monty Man at take12radio.com. That is take the number 12radio.com. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.